How could that person leave us? He was so alive. No matter how far back I try to recall, I always adored my older brother. I think I imprinted on him, like, you know, the little ducks on the big ducks. I would wait by the window for him to come home from school. And when he came home, I was so happy. And that never changed. I always adored him. Now, you probably all know Lou as an adult. The tough, intimidating, eat journalist for lunch kind of guy in the leather jacket and the shades. Well, he was cool, yep, but let me tell you about the time he was babysitting for me. I was 7, so he would have been 12. And I was about to go to bed, and there was this epic spider in my room. Oh my God, it was the size of an aircraft carrier. And I called, Lou, please come and kill the spider for me. And he said, no way, I am not going in there, that sucker's too big. At Syracuse, Lou was getting even cooler. He started a band, he had his own radio show. And my best recollection of that is that he slandered some guy on the radio show and that he then tried to sue my father. I believe, I don't have it on good account, but that there might have been some extracurricular illegal activities, and Syracuse did its best to try to throw him out. But the truth is my brother was a genius, and he graduated. So now fast forward, it's 40 years later, Syracuse is begging him, please let us throw a great big dinner honoring you and putting a scholarship in your name. And it was great. It was a great dinner. I sat with David Bowie and with Bono. That's kind of cool, right? Timothy had his documentary playing about Lou. It was really heady stuff. So Lou gets up and he's accepting the award. And he's talking. I was sitting about, I don't know, 6 feet away. In the middle of his speech, he suddenly stopped. And he looked up. Bunny, can you fucking believe this? You're laughing. I cried like a baby. It was a long trip to that full circle moment. I remember seeing him in the Velvet Underground at La Ca, a local club in Cleveland when I was in college. There were maybe 20 people in the audience, and at least half of them hated it. But my brother, Lou, was Lou. He couldn't have cared less. And maybe to protect me or him, I don't know. He told me, never tell anyone you're related to me. But some people figured it out, so what I would tell them, and he approved of this, is that I kept all of us, my parents and I, we kept him in the basement as a child, and we fed him black bread through a hole in the floor. That seemed to satisfy him. Okay. Then there were the people who just didn't quite get who my brother was, and they'd naively ask me, has Luke brought home a nice Jewish girl to meet your parents? And I'd do my best to say, we're just glad if he didn't bring home a goat. When Lou left the Velvet Underground, he did come home to live with us in Freeport, his typing phase, he liked to call it. But I want to tell you, he'd signed with a record company, and they did a first cover. And that first cover was a picture of Lou on the beach with our dog Seymour, our beloved dog. They didn't use that cover, but it hung on my parents' wall forever, and it was a beautiful picture of Lou's favorite things, dogs and beaches. You know the rest. Lou never ever compromised, even if he was wrong, even if compromising might make his life infinitely easier. And as he was reminding you why you were wrong, he had that look in his eye, that twitch of his mouth that let you know a clever retort was coming. When he was shooting Berlin at St. Anne's Warehouse, they were recording it, and there was a break, and he actually spoke to the audience, and he was saying how the music executives were so angry at the Berlin album, like, Lou, couldn't, you know, man, couldn't it have a better ending? And he looked at us and he said, I said to them, what do you think? Did Hamlet end happy? Once he was late, what else is new? He was driving out to see us in Long Island. Elise, his assistant, was driving. I said, Lou, you're late. Where are you? On the phone, he said, I think we just crossed the border into Croatia. Even when he was ill, his sense of humor survived. There were hard times. He was suicidal, his friend said. Speak to him, Bunny, you have to speak to him. So I called him and I said, what are you doing? Are you really going to hurt yourself? And he said, oh, Bunny, come on. I can't kill myself with the Tai Chi swords, they're too dull. But he was scared. Who wouldn't be? During that last hard year, he worried to me, I don't want to be erased. His friends stayed by his side, and I thank you all. I love my brother. He is in my heart. I know he is in your hearts also. I take such comfort in knowing that with his beautiful and talented wife, Lori, he found the love of his life. She brought him as much contentment and happiness as Lou Reed could possibly have. So in a way, he was fortunate. He died with the person he loved the most in the place he loved the most in the world. And I know that Lou and my family are all grateful to Lori, whose vision created this magnificent celebration of his life and a time for all of us to come together to heal. I thank her from the bottom of my heart. During October and November, my beloved brother died, and then our mother, Toby, 10 days later. I made the decision to tell my mother about Lou, even though she was completely non-responsive. I told her about the accolades, the world's reaction to Lou's death. Out of her stupor, she sat up straight, she opened her eyes, and she said gibberish with great passion and fell back. As I left, I gave her a hug. For the first time in 2 years, she squeezed my shoulder. It was the last time I saw my mother. Toby knew, and she left to join him. How perfect. She went to join her adored son, whom she yearned for and regretted letting down. It was meant to be. I am happy for her that she has let go and that she is at peace. But I miss having my brother. Throughout my life, I could never get enough of Lou. I always wanted more. Didn't you? One more conversation, one more sardonic comment, one more Lou Reed look, one more Lou Reed phone call. I will feel that way for the rest of my life. He will not be erased. And yes, Lou, I really do fucking believe it.